Viewer discretion is expressed for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution while viewing this program, because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children, and not for coworkers either.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm JJ, that's Deacon, and we meet Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock on rumble.com/JJW to talk about the news and politics and culture and pop culture and weird stuff and all kinds of things. And apparently today we got a Democrat that's running on her BDSM sex record. So we're going to find out about that. So there's a lot of interesting news coming up today. Hang out with us, read the news, leave a comment, chat, do stuff. What's up, Deke? How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. What's up, man?
It's Thanksgiving week, so I'm gonna go to the work. I'm gonna go to the office today. I'm taking my kids with me because they're out of school. So we'll hope that's gonna work out all right. And then I'm gonna come home tonight, and we're gonna pack up and drive across the state of Texas. It's amazing.
I've got a Texas story for you today.
Yeah.
A Texas story for you. Yeah, I saved this
Love
one just
it.
for you.
Excellent.
Very nice. I don't know if I'm going to what I don't know about the show schedule this week. I don't know if I'm going to be here Thursday. So it's kind of a grab bag pop up. Whatever.
Yeah, we may not have episodes all week long. We'll try to let you know. You know what you should do? Follow us on Twitter, and then
We never tweet anything, so you should follow us on Twitter anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Okay, well, whatever.
I hope your weekend was good.
Huh?
We didn't do anything this weekend. It was a lazy weekend. We have such a busy August and September and 1st of October that the couple of weeks that we have that are just like lazy weekends, we just turn into mold and we just kind of sit on the couch and don't do anything.
Well, do you guys travel like very much during the holiday season? Because every time holidays come around, like I'm driving all over the place. And so if there's a weekend where nothing's happening, I'm usually like, thank you, sweet baby Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere.
10-pound, 9-ounce baby Jesus. All right. Let's get to
song of the day.
Hello there, Sinister Minister. Yeah, our Discord bot's still throwing up into
isn't I'll fix that. I'm gonna fix that right now.
No, that's okay. I just saw it come up, and Sinister is saying hello, gentlemen. So I thought that our music this week could be music thankful music to be thankful music. So our song today is a good one by Montgomery Gentry that I play all the time, but I'll usually play our Thanksgiving songs and whatnot each and this time of year. And this is one that is a really good Thanksgiving song. And that's one of my favorite lines in there is, I look around at what everyone has and I forget about all I've got. It's you need to remember. Yeah, you need to remember, because I look around, I do that. I used to do that. I still kind of do that. You look around, you're like, oh man, I could use that, or I could use that, or blah, blah, blah. But I got to remember I've got my health, and I've got my family, and I've got my telephone that constantly rings off the wall. So I'm a lucky man.
He's gonna answer that phone real quick. So let's see. I don't know that I know this song. I don't know that I've ever heard this song. Let's see. Deke's playlist. Oh yeah, this is not something I would be normally into. It's a bit of a country song. All right. Okay. And now I'm stuck. It's stuck playing in the background. I gotta stop it. All right.
Okay. I'm going to this week as well. I'll be taking little step downs because I have my little breaks that I'm doing. We do these things called turkey shoots here on the radio where we shoot a turkey.
Awesome.
So I take a particular caller, like you're my caller 3, and I would say, JJ, where are you from? You're from wherever. And how many shots do you think it's going to take to get the turkey? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? And you guess
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And we don't actually shoot a turkey. I have sound effects that has the gunshots and and so it's either 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots, or 5 shots. But I've got them randomized, so I don't just hit one.
So
I've
you
got
don't
them
know.
randomized. No, I don't know
So
what's
it's a
coming
surprise
up.
for you too.
That's a
All
surprise.
right.
I've heard them so many times. I know what's coming up by the space in between the gunshots, though. I can be like, oh, this is 4, because I've done it for 10 years.
Right. Yeah.
So
I told you the other day, like, I think I mentioned it to you that Rumble is starting their streaming alternative to Restream, right? So we'll have a studio within Rumble, and then we can also broadcast to YouTube. But I was looking at their feature page, and immediately out the gate, it's going to be more or less like this: you, me, some stuff. But one of the features that is like in line to be pushed out right after launch is a call-in mechanism. So. Yeah, so I don't know if that would be something we could incorporate or not. I don't know. It'd be kind of neat, though.
Possibly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's I don't know. There's not really like a top story other than I do have to mention Ms. Carter, President Jimmy Carter's wife,
former
passed away.
First Lady Rosalind Carter.
Former First Lady, met Rosalind Carter. She passed away last night. That's notable, certainly notable.
Absolutely. She was what, like 96? They were married for 77 years.
Jeez.
And whether you agreed with
Amazing.
what he did in office or out of whether you agreed or disagreed with what he did his 4 years in office back in the late 70s.
You're right.
Where most people were still, we were children. Yeah. I didn't know who Jimmy Carter
was. Born. I was shitting my pants. Yeah. I don't know.
So, yeah. So our parents will all have an opinion.
Hey, but
we know what Jimmy Carter has done since he's been out of office. And to me, Jimmy Carter seems like a wow. I wish,
Well, listen. Okay. Jimmy Carter, I think pretty much everybody agrees. Good guy. A good guy. Being a good guy doesn't necessarily make you a good politician or an effective politician, right? So, okay, he wasn't a great president.
Actually, JJ, if you're a good guy, that would make you a terrible politician.
Probably not very effective at all.
From what I read, Jimmy was in hospice as well. Jimmy's been in hospice, I think, as well. So they were married for 77 years, and honestly, it would not surprise me if we got news today that Jimmy Carter had passed away. She passed away yesterday. He passed away today. There are so many stories in radio that I have found over the years that's not just like did you hear that one story? That is like not uncommon. I have read that story so many times with different people over the years, and with my 30 years in radio, it would not surprise me if we didn't get that he passed away today.
Yeah. Just especially that many years married. I think maybe young people, especially cynical people, might think like that, that idea of like, two people get married and they become one, like you think that, that's like a metaphor, or that's like
my great aunt and great uncle just did the same thing like 2, 3, 4 months ago.
What do you mean?
My great uncle passed away. My great aunt was sick. She passed away. We had a double funeral for him.
Yeah. Like when you're married that long, the other person really is like another part of you, and when they're gone, and like it's not surprising at all that the part of you just doesn't want to be here anymore. Like, I don't want to keep fighting. What am I fighting for? I've had my life. I've had my kids. I've had my family. I've had adventures. I'm hurting all the time, and the person I love most on this whole planet is gone. What am I hanging out for? So, but
you're gonna make me cry this morning, JJ.
I know. I know. All right. Let's talk about today's. We got like a. This is going to be like a cornucopia of stories today. We got like a bunch of little things. It's been the weekend, like nothing major's happening. We're not in World War III yet, so just be patient, folks. Today's episode, the U.S. Army VAX policy is takesies backsies. Takesies backsies. That's the policy for the United States Army and vaccines now. So if you recall.
Refresh my memory, okay?
Please don't cancel my channel again, you assholes. I'm reading the news. Here it is from Breitbart News. The U.S. Army is scrambling to get back soldiers that it kicked out over Biden's military vaccine mandate. This story is kind of important for a couple of reasons. One, Brian, as you know, I believe. He's one of our folks around here. He actually was in the military.
Pause real quick. Yeah. I'm going to dip out so I can do this, and I'll come back in.
Okay. Brian was in the military, and due to the Biden vaccine mandate, he was basically removed from. He wasn't going to do it, and he was discharged from the military. That's my recollection. Brian, if you're hanging out and I'm mistaking your story, then let me know. So that's one reason. The other reason is that the U.S. government seems to be trying like hell to get us into a war, and we do not have enough soldiers to be going into a war. The U.S. Army is scrambling to get soldiers back. It appears to now be trying to bring back into service soldiers that it kicked out over Biden's policy to remove service members who rejected the coronavirus vaccine mandate, according to a letter from the Army several former soldiers have posted online. The letter is addressed to, quote, former service member, and it states that there's a new Army guidance that would correct military records of those kicked out, which would enable those who were removed and had their DD-214s marked with a certain code barring them from re-entering service to be able to return. So the DD-214, if you have ever been in the military or knew somebody who's in the military, the DD-214 is your record that you have to have for anything that's veteran, military service, whatever. You have to produce the DD-214. Once you exit the military, it has your date you entered service, your major kind of posts or whatever your job codes were, and it has the date that you left service, including a note on there whether you were honorably discharged or dishonorably discharged, and apparently a code for whether or not you exited based on refusing to take the vaccine during the mandated vaccine period. Individuals who and if you are dishonorably discharged, you cannot rejoin the military. And not only that, you're also denied quite a few veterans benefits. If they were marking soldiers who otherwise honorably discharged, they marked them with a code that said they refused to take the vaccine, and those people could not rejoin the military. It is much more common than you think for people to serve in an army or the Navy or some branch in the military, leave service, and then join service again, or even change services. I've known a bunch of people that were U.S. Marines, and they served as Marines for 2-3 years, and then they left service, and then they joined the Army or they joined the Air Force, or they switched services and transferred. These people that took these, that refused to take the vaccines, got these codes, they were not able to rejoin the military in any capacity. Now the Army is indicating that they're going to update their DD-214s and allow these people to rejoin the military. Why would they be willing to do that? Either maybe the vaccine mandate was not appropriate, or they're having trouble recruiting.
I'm just now joining you, but I understand what's going on. Yeah. Do they get to rejoin exactly where they were on the rank and pay scale?
I think it depends.
With all of the benefits and everything that they had gained up until then. Let's say old dude was 19 years in the military.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna say maybe, but for instance, I knew people that were in the say Marines, and they were like an E4 or an E5, and then they left service and they rejoined the military, but they joined the Army. Well, they ended up negotiating a different, an equivalent pay rank, that where they
I would
were like,
see
oh,
that. Yeah, I could see
so
that.
it's
Yeah.
not always, but like there's some transfer and there's some honoring of that. But if you leave and you come back, you may not come right. Like if you leave as an E6, you may not be able to rejoin right back as an E6. They may be like, well, you can join as an E5. And then, after so many months, they have like criteria and stuff on these ranks. Not only do you have to go to school and have enough points, and there have to be jobs in order for you to get a rank. But there's criteria, and then there's like sometimes minimum service requirements. So, but it's not like you come in at E1 and start over either. So it's very unlikely that you would leave as a sergeant in the Marines and then join the Army and be a private. That's not likely to happen. But I mean, all of this is really because we're having a lot of difficulty selling military service to young folks right now, if you can believe it.
No, I can believe that. Alex,
would you like to go die in Ukraine or Israel? Maybe
Alex just came home. It was 2 weeks ago. It was last week. No, it wasn't last week. It was a week before. And Ashley had asked me, hey, I've got to show a house. Can you pick them up? I was like, sure. And here comes Alex. And Alex, let me explain to you, my son, Alex. He had baby fat for a long time. He was a little chubby kid, very handsome, very cute, had baby fat, and I always said, when he loses that baby fat, you're going to need a stick to keep the girls off of him. He's going to be the most handsome kid you've ever seen in your life. And Alex lost his baby fat, and now he's the most handsome kid you've ever seen in your life. And I'm not just saying that because he's my son. Yeah. He's a very good looking guy. And he's
big guy,
walks around. Yeah, he's bigger than me. Yeah. So he comes and he's like, look, and he's like, I got a Army water bottle thing. It's kind of a nice little Army water bottle. I was like, man, that's pretty nice. Where'd you get that? He was like, the recruiters were here at school today. And I was like, oh, they were? He was like, yeah. I said, was there a bunch of people around? He was like, yeah, only because they were having a pull-up contest. He said they were having a pull-up contest if you could get over 10 pull-ups, you got this water bottle. And Alex did 11. And he was one of the few kids that did more than 10 pull-ups. He said not very many kids got the water bottle. He said nobody got 15. He said, and he said, I missed as we were walking in the house after all that, he said, man, I'm starving. I said, did you eat lunch? He said, no, I forgot to. And me and Kendra at the same time were like, you forgot to eat lunch? You said, I was too worried about getting the pull-ups done. I was like, oh. Interesting. But we talked about that in the car, and I said, was there a lot of kids around? And he said, yeah, only to do pull-ups. And I said, were very many kids signing up? And he said he didn't see any. I said, did you fill out anything? And he said, no, I didn't fill out anything, but I told the guy that both my mom and my dad, because his real dad was in the Army, and Ashley was in the Army. He said, my mom and dad were both in the Army, and my grandfather was in the Navy, and my cousin's in the Navy currently. And he was like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. So that was one of the, he comes from the military family. There's a good chance that he could be steered into the military because he comes from a military family. But most of those kids, they're not signing up.
I imagine not.
What was the enticement for you to sign up? You want me to tell you what the enticement for me to sign up was? Because I almost went into the Air Force. The reason I didn't was because of my back. And
I had a friend that I'll tell you in a second. Go ahead.
It was the school. It was the paying for everything.
Yeah,
that's what it was for me.
That was most of it. When I was if I'm honest, when I was in high school, I got mixed up with some kids in trouble, and then I got out of that, and I was like, I just need to create a lot of space between me and these people. And on another dimension, there was a girl, and that didn't work out. And I was like, I'm going to create a bunch of space between me and this girl. And then, when I went into, I was 18, and I was like, look, I wasn't headed for college, and it wasn't like I was a dummy and can't go to college. It was like that was never really in my that
Yeah.
wasn't the stuff I thought about, and
Same for
I
me.
was too young, and I was like, I need to like go and do something. So when they were like, you can join the Army and drive tanks, I was like, okay, that sounds rad. Turns out you can't be as tall as me and drive tanks. So I ended up doing some other jobs. But it took me like around the world.
I wanted to be an aviator. I wanted to be a naval aviator until I realized that I can't do that because I have shattered my bones like all throughout my childhood. But this arm itself like disqualified me from being.
Yeah.
They were like, if you hit a certain speed, your arm's going to shatter. I broke this arm in 9 places, and this arm in 8, or this bone in 9 places, in 8 places. So I was like, I'll go into the Air Force and do something cool in the Air Force. My buddy was going into the Air Force. We were going to be MPs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Damn.
And then my back went out on me as I was about 18 years old, and it went out bad on me. And the recruiter was like, if that happens during basic, you get medically discharged on the spot.
When okay, so that exactly happened to a buddy of mine. We were both in basic training, and he was a little taller than me. His name's Dan. I'm not gonna say his last name on the air. I haven't talked to him in a while, but his name was Dan, and we met in basic, and we like became friends real quick, and like we were hanging out all the time, and Dan had something wrong with his back. He had one of those. He was a real tall, skinny guy, but he had one of those backs where he was kind of hunched or something like that. Mm-hmm. And something was wrong, and they ended up medically discharging him. He wasn't able to finish, basic training.
In school as a kid, they check for scoliosis, right? They check for scoliosis, right?
I think so.
Do you remember checking, bending over and them checking the outward curvature of your back, them running their finger along your spine, check for scoliosis? I do. I remember a couple of times that as a kid.
Okay.
When I was 17, I found out I had lordosis. It's the opposite of scoliosis. It's mine was lumbar lordosis, and it's the inward curvature of the lower spine. The lower part of my spine curves in way too far, and I've had to go through physical therapy and stuff to bend it back over the years, and it still has not gotten back to where it's supposed to be.
Okay. As a result, more than 8,000 members were, as a result of the Biden vaccine policy, 8,000 members were kicked out of, and tens of thousands. Wow. 8,000 members of the Army, I believe this story is trying to say, were kicked out, and tens of thousands of National Guard members were sidelined and lost drill time and pay, and a number decided not to reenlist. So there was quite a bit of force reduction in our Army and Army National Guard as it relates to these policies. Quite a few people are receiving these letters, basically offering to un-F them on their DD-214s in order for them to be able to rejoin the military, to which I say, nah. Nah. Oh, here's the thing. This is the reason I want to bring this story up. In order for you to have this code reversed on your DD-214, you have to apply. You have to put in paperwork to get it changed. So maybe you don't want to rejoin the military, but maybe you do want to have your DD-214, which is sort of a permanent record across your. Yeah. We're not going anywhere yet. Which is a permanent record as far as being a veteran is concerned. If you want to have that code changed, Brian, if that's you, I don't know. You're gonna have to get some paperwork put in and apply. So let's see. Individuals who desire to return to service should contact their local Army, U.S. Army Reserve, Army National Guard recruiter for more information. Don't do that. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll see if Deke's got something else to say about that in a second. We got another policy that was oh, he's back. He's back. He's back. Did you have anything else to say about the about the Army code?
No, I've been listening to you. I've got an old man that is really hard. He's getting older and he can't walk up our steps anymore, and he gets our stuff. So I just tell him to just honk, and I come out and I bring it to him.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
because I don't want him walking up our steps. So I'm waiting for him. He's like, I'll be there in just a second. So I was like, all right. So I'm standing at the door waiting for him. So
yeah, you don't want him walking your steps. You really don't want him falling off your steps.
No, he's I've known him for a long time, and he's gotten old. As he's gotten older and older, he's getting a little more frail, and I'm trying to take care of my listeners. So I'll be right back. Hang on.
All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and change topics here, folks. We talked about this quite a bit last year, that the student loans were going to be forgiven by Joe Biden and his administration, and that ended up getting no-no'd by the Supreme Court, and then they tried it another way. I think they got it no-no'd again. An audit conducted by a congressional watchdog reports that Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness program, which was ruled against in June by the Supreme Court, would not have checked eligibility for borrowers. So it basically, anybody that had borrowed money, they wouldn't have checked whether or not you were credible or not. They were just going to plan on cutting you a check. Around the time the court made the ruling in the program, the Government Accountability Office stated the Department of Education had already made approval decisions to modify the loan balances on over 2 million applications that relied on people to report their own incomes. These cases were automatically approved applications and were solely based on the borrower's income that was self-reported with no verification checks whatsoever. Education sought to expedite approvals for millions of borrowers by approving them automatically and relied solely on self-reported data. By not addressing the risks of self-reported data, education left the door open for the possibility of some ineligible borrowers receiving relief based on fraudulent data. There is the possibility of an estimated $430 billion of relief going to over 31 million borrowers, according to the GAO report. GOP lawmakers blasted the Department of Education's approach to this issue. Quote, rather than intervening to mitigate circumstances of fraud from students who applied for loan forgiveness, the department leaned back on its chair, kicked up its feet, and took a nap. The GAO report also said that although the Supreme Court had shut down Biden's loan forgiveness program, the Education Department was still trying to get it done on a slimmed down basis. If I still owed debt, there's a chance that I could still be getting some of your money, folks. But we paid our debt off.
Hey, you can. Yeah, I've got student. Yeah, I got how many kids? Five. I got. What's
send a letter
that I got to fill out?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hey, Deke, do you remember the tragic story of Jesse Smollett?
Is that his French cousin?
I don't know how to say his name. Part of my brain is just whatever Dave Chappelle said.
Poor Jesse. Yes.
Poor Jesse.
The tragic tale of Jesse Smollett.
Yeah. Smollett. Smollett. I don't know.
Jesse Smollett.
Yeah. According to Jesse, he was out getting a sandwich at 4:30 in the morning, and when it was like negative 50 degrees in Chicago, and he got
viciously attacked by Donald Trump's cronies.
Right, who were out hunting for.
They were hunting black.
According to Jesse, the entire world knew that he was lying. Straight up, but the police went through Chicago police went through this a very expensive process to collect information to prove that he was full of shit, and he was basically publicly humiliated, lost his acting career, and he maintains to this day that he is the victim of some 4:30 in the morning, like Trump supporting hunters. I guess I don't know. Well, somebody decided to take a page out of his book and see how it went. And for some reason, it seems like we've shortcutted a bunch of the bullshit. Breitbart.news reports from the police, an Ohio man fakes an anti-Palestinian hate crime. Injuries were caused by his own brother. By the time you heard about it, it had already been bullshitted, and they had been like, that was your brother that did that. So this guy, this man in Ohio, let's see, he was a victim of an anti-Palestinian hate crime in October. Hesham Ayad, who's 20, allegedly faked the hate attack, telling officers that he had been hit by a car in a racially motivated incident. Ayad claimed to be in North Ridgeville. Oh, I'm sorry. He claimed to North Ridgeville detectives that the alleged crime took place in Cook Road in Olmsted Township on October 22nd, and after which he was taken to the hospital. Let's see. Let's get down to the a release from the department obtained by local outlets states that Ayad was never struck by a vehicle or victimized by racially motivated threats based on further investigation. It was actually injured during an earlier fight with his brother. He got into a fight with his brother. He got beat up, and then he called the police and said he was hit by a car because of racism. Authorities said they were able to confirm the altercation with 19-year-old Khalil Ayad and with video footage. Both brothers were arrested Tuesday and charged with domestic violence and assault. The alleged hate crime faker was also hit with an additional charge of making false alarms, falsification, and obstructing official business. I'm sure that this is the final episode of make up fake stuff and try to get some public sympathy for it. Now that it has happened to both Jesse Smollett and Hesham Ayad, I am sure that nobody will make this mistake again. We have all learned that lesson, folks. Right? Maybe not.
I could not stifle my laughter any longer.
All right. Okay.
All right.
What do you want? What do you want to? Let's see. We got a Rocket news. We got some Captain Marvel news. We'll do that after we do the Rockets, maybe. And let's see. And so I'm gonna do this one here. A mother has been charged after her toddler, pardon me, accidentally discharged her gun in Walmart. A woman faces charges of child endangerment after her toddler accidentally discharged a gun found in her purse Thursday. The incident occurred around 11 in the morning when the 2-year-old boy allegedly accessed his mother's Taurus 9mm firearm from her purse, causing it to fire. The bullet from the accidental discharge hit the ceiling of the store. The toddler only sustained a minor injury to his forehead, which was attributed to contact with the magazine of the gun. So I'm not even sure. Okay, folks, I am all for your Second Amendment rights and your Second Amendment responsibilities. If you're going to carry around a gun and a toddler, you should keep those things far apart from each other.
Dude, this is the major argument that I've had for years with gun people and guns rights and all this. Education on our firearms is the number one thing. My father was very stern with me and my brother about firearms. We had firearms in the house, unlocked. I had I had a very powerful pellet gun. I had the 22 rifle. I had a 410. I had a 30-06. We had a 308. We had 12 gauge, 14 gauge. Dad had a silver 44 revolver that was underneath his bed that I could lift that mattress up and see that thing laying there. And I think I might have touched it one time, but I knew that if I picked that gun up, I wouldn't be able to walk. I would have my butt beat. I just would.
Yeah.
And Dad and me and Logan have talked about this because my brother is still a hunter and a conservation. He was hunting over the weekend. Dad he always said the same thing with a gun. Do not point that weapon at anything you don't intend to destroy. That's verbatim what he used to say. Do not point that weapon at anything you don't intend to destroy. If he caught us using that scope as binoculars, pointing that, oh my God, I can't imagine. We would have wrapped that gun around my head. We had to have our hunter's safety card on us. We had to pass that course at 10 years old before he would allow us to go hunting. Alex has that gun. when he was 10 years old. You going through the hunter safety course, you're going to get your little orange card, your hunter safety card, and before you go hunting. If you want to go hunting, that you're going to get that. There needs to be better education with our firearms and stuff like that. And people wouldn't carry and wouldn't, oh, there's a baby here. Maybe I need to move my freaking gat out of my purse.
Keep it more secured or something.
I need to leave it at home.
Leave it at home, put on a fucking belt and wear it on your belt, keep it in a holster, something. Don't leave it in your purse with your kid holding your purse in the thing while you turn your back and fuck around with cans at the grocery store. Look, I mean, I understand, especially women sometimes need to have protection available to them. You know, they could be out crossing parking lots late at night or whatever. Women are, yeah, that's totally. And at the same time, you had better, if you're gonna take that extra power to defend yourself and your kid, and I'm saying you should, you also better take that extra responsibility and realize that you are a threat to everybody around you if you're not responsible. And so oh well. Let's see. We got you got why don't you tell the mom? You got a mother story here too.
A mother?
You got a mom story. Yeah. Well, not a mother. I guess it's a woman. You got a woman.
I've got this one. This is good. All right. So
maybe she's a mother.
I'm sure she might be. She lives in Canada, so she's at least a Canadian mother. She was walking along the roadside one day, and she heard someone. She's just walking along, just kind of strolling along. Heard someone call out. Here, let me find one headline here. And you can follow along. She says, one day, see, it's a beautiful little rural town. Look, it kind of looks like our town, with a little antique store, and you've got the little gas station down there on the corner. And one day, a few months back, local resident Lisa Sandoval was walking near the waterfront when she heard someone speak to her. I heard someone call out to me, "Hello, hello," Sandoval told the dodo. I turned around and no one was there. And then I heard the voice again, "Hello, hello." I got a little scared, and then I thought to myself, am I hearing things? And then that was when Sandoval noticed that the only other soul around was a crow perched nearby. I stopped and said, "Hello?" Sandoval continued, and to my shock, he answered me back, "Hello, hello."
There's a video clip of this. You can hear the bird talking.
Hello.
That's crazy, dude. It's a crow.
Come on, say hello.
Crows are super.
Say hello. 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 God, you didn't know we had a talking crow in Canada, did you?
Isn't that great?
That's pretty awesome.
She later came to learn that she wasn't the only one in town to have encountered the talking crow. Rumor has it years earlier, the bird had been found injured as a baby and nursed back to health by an elderly man living nearby who often spoke to him during his recovery. He let the crow go free, and when he was well, that bird learned to say hello. A few months after their initial meeting, Sandoval bumped into the talking crow yet again, and this time she caught the friendly greeting on the video, and that was the video that she had.
So
he talks but doesn't call.
How many other wild animals do you think can actually learn to speak English? And we just don't ever try because we don't whoever takes care of a crow. I never heard of that.
I watched this really interesting documentary over the weekend about this man who taught this chimpanzee some sign language, and the documentary was called Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I believe. It was intriguing. There's like a second part.
Yeah.
No, honestly, crows are very, very smart. I have said many times, I would love to befriend a crow and have a crow as my friend. I think that is they're really, really interesting. I took a picture. There was a bunch of them out the other day across the street in the parking lot from the radio station. So I took a picture of them through the window so you could see me looking through the blinds and taking a picture of all the crows. There were several out there. And I posted it on Facebook, and I was like, I saw a murder across the street from the radio station.
Yes.
I was trying to
yes,
make a good
one
joke.
for Deke. Okay, I got another bird story here. Check this out. I don't know
Okay.
if I don't know if this is going to work as a segue. An Oregon Democrat candidate has been exposed for being a BDSM dominatrix. Is now using her Playboy page in her campaign.
What kind of bird is this again?
I thought that was like a term. I thought that was a term. I don't know.
I've never seen the plumage on a dominatrix.
Yeah.
Do I need to Google that?
Yeah.
Can I Google it?
Yeah. You should definitely Google it. You should Google all of this stuff, dude. Congressional candidate Courtney Ellen Casgraw revealed that she's going to reclaim her sexuality after a video of her working as a dominatrix in Manhattan was leaked to the internet in August. In an interview to the New York Post, she said that her first reaction to the video was to panic. I was like, who did this? I just started calling every person that I pretty much knew from my past. I was like hyperventilating, crying. She revealed that during her 20s and 30s, she made $500 an hour playing the role of a dominatrix in a BDSM dungeon. She begrudged the person whom she was unable to find and posted the video as a way to shame her. To shame me for something that helped create the life that I have today, where I had this opportunity, made me really mad because it felt like an attack on women, not just an attack on me. Since the leak, she's created a Facebook, a Playboy profile. I didn't even know you could have a Playboy profile. I don't know anything about that. Wait a minute.
So I'm a very feeble-minded individual. Yeah. Okay, we all know this. Yeah. I'm having trouble understanding this. This girl was a whore, and then she's mad because somebody pointed out that she was a whore.
Right.
Okay. Because I'm having.
I mean,
like I said, I'm very feeble-minded. I'm having trouble understanding this.
Well, it's like this. She was minding her own business, whoring it up in Manhattan, and then ran for public office. And somebody said, "Hey, you used to be a whore in Manhattan." And she was like, "Hey, you can't tell people I did that. That's my private life, where I was making a lot of money, whoring."
Being a whore. Okay. I didn't understand, but now that makes sense. Okay.
Now we've seen, and now she's trying to flip this. She's trying to flip this and be and turn it into a positive, right? Like, I'm reclaiming my sexuality. I'm gonna post this on my Playboy account and use it to push my campaign.
Well, I mean, I'm just using common sense here of any marketing strategy. You would definitely try to turn this into a positive as much as a negative as much as you can. But that's just common marketing sense.
We've seen this strategy play out, though. I think it was in Virginia or Georgia or something like that. There was a congressional candidate that had been outed as having an OnlyFans page, and that didn't work out too well. She ended up having to drop out of the race because support dried up. I don't know. All I can say to Miss Courtney Ellen Casgraw is that being a congressional candidate does not pay $500 an hour.
It's a lot more. You get a lot more.
I don't think so. All right. Deke, I know you love space stuff, and I don't know much about this except that it looks fiery. Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket has self-destructed during the second test flight. I think this is the big one. Here we go. In a social media post on SpaceX shared video footage of the launch with a caption that read, "Liftoff of Starship." During the countdown, people were heard cheering in the background as the rocket barreled towards space. The uncrewed Starship made it into space after the successful launch from SpaceX's private starbase in Boca Chica, Texas, around 8 a.m. Eastern Time. When the flight controllers lost contact with it and were unable to maintain the craft's course a few minutes later, the order went out to have the rocket self-destruct. Oh, okay, so they boomed it themselves. While the two stages separated as planned, the first stage booster soon began to tumble and exploded in midair instead of falling into the Gulf of Mexico as planned. Despite the self-destruction, SpaceX later congratulated its team during the integrated test flight. So, okay. So it wasn't supposed to do that, so they blew it up instead of letting it fall somewhere. I guess that's okay.
Yeah. I'm
These
sure
are the things that are eventually going to take us to moon base and then to Mars.
But
are you optimistic about traveling to Mars?
No, we need to terraform Earth first before we terraform Mars.
That's good.
We need to fix Earth first before we fix Mars. All right. I understand that we need to have a contingency plan to go somewhere else in case shit happens here on Earth and we have a comet that we can't get out of and whatnot, and we need to get all of the billionaires and rich people on to Mars so that us peons can die on the comet. But you know what? We will. We need to. I've got a story here for you, JJ. This comes from my secret vault here, because we got just a little bit of time left, and I know you got some other stuff, but I wanted to hit this one real quick because I know you love your home state of Texas.
I do.
All right? You guys are the biggest states in the union. You do everything big in Texas. Everything big in Texas. And Texas is not letting you down, because Texas might be home to woolly mammoths sooner than you think.
Oh my.
This de-extinction company has set a goal of having a living, breathing mammoth by 2028. No kidding.
It's been 25 years since I've been in Deep Ellum, but Deep Ellum, I don't think of as a bioengineering like research area. It's more like a bunch of bars and tattoo shops. So,
do you want me to tell you what I know about Deep Ellum?
What do you know about Deep Ellum?
There is a song that was written in the 30s called Deep Ellum Blues. The Grateful Dead did a cover of Deep Ellum Blues that was really good, that they played in all their concerts. And Deep Ellum Blues is a 1930s song about going to Deep Ellum because that's where all the whorehouses were. And
that sounds right.
You would get in trouble going to Deep Ellum because that's where all the that's what the song's about. Deep Ellum Blues. Look up the lyrics.
Yeah, that sounds right.
You didn't even hesitate. You're like, yeah, that sounds right.
No, yeah. I've been there a bunch of times. Not to whorehouses, but to Deep Ellum. That's where there's clubs and bars and tattoo shops.
Someone please clip that.
Actually,
someone please clip that at the exact same perfect time, please.
I think no, it wasn't The Cure. Who did I see there? I think I saw Sex Pistols in Deep Ellum.
Really?
Yeah. I saw Sex Pistols in Deep Ellum.
Yeah, I'd love to see The Cure.
I feel like I've seen The Cure somewhere, but maybe I haven't. It might be just my imagination.
Anyway, there's a Colossal Biosciences, to our knowledge, is at least the world's first de-extinction and species preservation company. What it means to us is looking at is understanding that genes are associated with the he says a bunch of shit. Anyway, they're trying to have the Mammoth 2.0. If we can de-extinct those genes, then you will have Mammoth 2.0. And they talk about all this crap in here when they fluff up this story so that they can have something to actually talk about. But Texas may have a woolly mammoth park, and I think that's pretty cool.
Let's say if by 2030, if we can have woolly mammoths, how long after that? 10 years, 20 years before we can have woolly mammoth barbecues.
Oh my God. No. Elephants are so freaking intelligent, and woolly mammoths have to be super freaking intelligent. But their craniums were flatter than elephants. They look different. It's not an elephant with hair on it. They looked different than an elephant. They were similar to an elephant, but we'll
figure out some way to communicate with them and be like, "Hey, man, we brought you back. You were gone for thousands of years. We brought you back." And they'd be like, "This is amazing." And be like, "There is a catch." It comes with barbecue sauce, but enjoy your time while you're here.
Gracious. I'm sure somebody will try freaking woolly mammoth.
All right, Deke, I know that you don't care about this, but we're going to talk about it for just a second anyway, because it's Monday. It's Monday morning, and the numbers are in, and you might be this week while you're with your family hanging out with things. A lot of people go watch movies during Thanksgiving.
I'm going to dip out again to do my thing.
Okay. I will let everybody else know.
I'm still listening to you. I'm just
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the Captain Marvel has now been in theaters for its second weekend. Its first weekend opened at an amazing $47 million. Now,
No.
yeah, $47 million opening weekend. And now here's the thing. When you include production costs, marketing costs, everything like that, it is suggested that that Captain Marvel needs to make about $700 million to break even. So we have the numbers here for the box office this weekend. Share this page. Here we go. Check this out. Number one over the weekend was Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I think this is a prequel to the Hunger Games. I don't know if you ever watched the Hunger Games. The one with Jennifer Lawrence is all right. Books were okay. I don't know anything about this, and a lot of people don't care. They made $44 million over the weekend. Trolls Band Together, that's the second Trolls cartoon, I believe, made $30 million. And then The Marvels, which is in its second weekend in release, has been beaten by a cartoon Trolls and a book that nobody's ever heard of. They made $10 million this weekend, which is a drop of 78% over last weekend, which is not good. But wait, there's more. See, once the initial box office totals come in, and then you get a little bit more data, you can estimate a trend. The trend is based with a 95% confidence based on all movies in the last 5 years about how much a movie is going to make, upper and lower bound, when it starts at any given price point. Any given opening weekend, you can estimate within 95% accuracy whether it's going to make as much as this money or make as little as this much money. The Marvels, opening at $47 million the first 4 days of release, is projected to make as much as $100 million and as little as about $90 million. And it is underperforming that total substantially. So it is outside of a 95% confidence interval that it is losing money. So that brings us to this. Doomed. The Marvels crashes 73% and probably will not cross $100 million. This is on Breitbart News. If the Marvels had opened to 67 million, they still would be considered a failure, but they didn't even earn that much. Disney poured at least $300 million into the Marvels, and there's a good chance that it will fail to cross $100 million domestically, which is not good. It's not good. It's not good for Marvel. Marvel's had a bunch of losses lately, bunch of PR losses. Now, they had a good win with Loki. Loki's good. And people are really liking Loki.
So, I didn't tell you, but I watched all of Loki.
Okay.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was... I kept waiting for something huge and spectacular at the end to happen because you were loved it so much that I was like, okay, we're going to see 1,000 freaking different Kangs come up at the end, or there's something big coming up. And
I thought it was cool.
It didn't really pay off for I was like, okay, I can see why JJ liked it because it was really good, but I didn't think that there was a huge payoff at the end.
I can understand that.
It was really good.
Having basically had no expectations from anything Disney, the fact that it was just good was enough for me to be like, wow, I can't believe this is good. But whenever Loki at the final moment, I really didn't think Hiddleston's kind of performance in that moment was especially enthralling or anything like that.
It was good, but in that last, what that moment was supposed to define opened up more questions than it did answers.
Sure.
Because he took the throne, he took the seat, but then Does that mean the whole timeline is now under the god of mischief?
Okay.
It kind of makes you go,
So if you recall in the first season, there was the sacred timeline managed by He Who Remains. And as long as He Who Remains managed the sacred timeline, he could kill all the other Kang variants. And then girl Loki stabs him in the chest. And his whole plan the whole time was, she's going to stab me in the chest. And then Loki's going to go through this thing. And then he's going to come back to this moment and not have me not stabbed in the chest. And I'm back to being in charge of everything. And Loki changed the plan. Loki was like, I'm going to let him be stabbed in the chest. And so He Who Remains dies. All the other variants are free. And everything's falling apart now. And the only way things can stay together, because they no longer have the loom and they no longer have the sacred timeline, is for Loki to kind of grab onto as much as he can and hold on to it. Now, what I thought was cool was that it became Yzidrol. I can't say the word, that the tree of realms. I thought that was dope.
So if you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoilers. It's been 2 weeks. It's your fault, not mine.
I understood all that. It's just
yeah.
I kept waiting for. I kept waiting for other Kang variants. I keep waiting for other Kang variants.
So that raises a couple questions, like, well, why don't the Kang variants like attack him or take over or something, or why didn't he deal with them or whatever? And I thought about it, and I was like, I think it explains itself, because it's like this: if any of the Kang variants kill Loki, then everything is reset, and He Who Remains kills all the Kang variants. So they can't do anything to him, but he's stuck there.
Do you think this was a very good attempt at tweaking the story in case they can't use Jonathan Majors anymore?
I think that perhaps this might have been a little bit of a pivot.
I would think this was an optional play. This was not the intended play, that this was a crap, we have to throw an option here in the HUD.
It might have been in it, and there might have been some subsequent stuff, and they may have changed it in editing to like close it off at this, because this was actually like, it was actually like a good payoff for the arc of Loki, who's always selfish, always narcissistic, always had these insane hopes of like being a king of something.
They took this because Tom Hiddleston was such a good actor, and you liked him so much that they took and decided, we can tell and make Loki the good bankable guy story. He is bankable. You're exactly right. That's what it was. So. In the first season, I probably, if we had talked about the first season last year, I probably would have been like, there's a lot of stuff in this show where I thought Hiddleston's performance was a little forced. And even in this episode, most of the time it's really, really good. Even in this, when he looks back and he's like, for all of us or whatever, I was like, I don't know. I don't know. But plot wise, I thought that the plot, and I thought I can't believe they did something even halfway competent. This was really good. So, no, I was happy with it. I could see why, if I blew it up, that you'd be like, this is okay, but like, nothing to write home about. It was really good. I really did. I was like, JJ loves this, so I have to watch this, and I want to see
it. It was good that we got to talk about it. So it's about to be Thanksgiving week. I don't know if you're gonna like go watch a movie with your family. You don't probably take the kids.
Watched when me and Deacon have time together, I like to show him older movies, and we've been watching the Predator franchise, but we've been doing it kind of weird. And yesterday we watched Alien, the first Alien, because we watched Predator versus Alien. And then we got to that, and he was like, I really would like to watch the Aliens, now, because he thought.
Has he not seen them? He must have seen those.
No, he's only 16. He thought the xenomorphs were crazy. He loved the xenomorphs. And I was like, well, let's watch Aliens so that we can start. And we watched the first Alien yesterday.
Let me tell you, I love Alien. Ridley Scott's Alien's great. And everybody loves Aliens. James Cameron's Aliens is like a big, like, sci-fi military adventure. And then a lot of people don't like Alien 3. I love Alien 3. I think Alien 3 is great. And I love Alien 4. I love Like all 4 of those movies are all
Let me tell
very
you a
different.
movie I like that you probably don't like because the whole
Yeah.
world hates it, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I didn't think it was a fantastic movie, but Prometheus wasn't that bad, I didn't think.
I wanted
liked
a lot
the
from
story.
Prometheus, and I did not like what I
I
got.
liked the story. I really thought it
Yeah.
was very intriguing. If you
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff,
I
and
mean,
I can see why people didn't like it, but I liked it.
I think that they just kind of like didn't. I think I mean, it's been a long time since I watched it. I remember feeling at the time like you just pick something and stick with it instead of like they're changing into different things all the time.
No,
and,
you
like,
gotta rewatch it and listen to the whole backstory and the whole
Yeah.
story it tells because that's what Deacon asked
it's
yesterday.
Guy
Because
Pearce, right?
at
Guy
the
Pearce
end,
was in.
at the end of Alien versus Predator, the Predator's body's laying there, and he bursts out, and the alien, when it's got the 4 Predator prongs on it.
Right.
Deacon was like, do you think the aliens, when they get into a new species, they pick up some DNA of that species, and that's how they are today? Maybe when they started, they didn't. And I was like, you need to watch Prometheus. I was like, Prometheus is really, I was like, it kind of tells about how the xenomorphs first. I was like, I said, a lot of people don't like it, but I liked it.
That's one of my favorite parts of Alien 3 is that it gets the dog. And then it becomes like a dog alien. And I was like, oh, that's radical. Yeah. So, I mean, I liked that.
I forgot about that. All right.
Yeah, that's good. All right. I don't think anything else we have can wait till tomorrow. So it's joke time, folks. If you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe. The like button is down there. It's not somewhere else where you usually go. You have to actually push the button. Deke, let's go with this. What building in Washington, D.C. has the most stories?
The Library of Congress.
Oh, damn. How did you know? All right. Well, that was a bad one. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, what do you call a sex? There's so many different sexualities anymore.
Oh, BDSM throwback. Okay.
Pansexual and whatever. What do you call a sexuality where you're attracted to men and women, but they're not attracted to you? I don't know. That's called a by yourself.
Oh.
I come across
all right. That's pretty good. All right. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll be back tomorrow.